Hey there! So I've got you a Napoleon Total War video here. This one does have a bit of a theme, and that's don't waste your good units by sending them off on their own. So, I mean, really quickly, I guess I'll go over the builds. I know people like that, right? So I've got 4 foot on the left. I've got my light force, same as it always is, and you know the 3 light foot and 2 King's German Legion foot. Got a meat shield that has a tick of experience this time, and guarding all that, I've got another foot. Then over on the right, I have a foot, 2 King's German Legion foot, and a Highland foot. And then I've got 4 dragoons and my general. My opponent, on the other hand, he's playing as France. He's got 3 chasseurs à cheval. He's got some Polish Legion, 1, 2, 3, 4 of them. Is that right? Yeah, 4 of them. 3 Old Guard, 5 Chasseurs, 3 Militia. And, you know, of course, Gen Staff. So, I mean, first things first, you know, let's take a look. I mean, you can see, like, first of all, one thing that means is that, so he's got, you know, 7 regular infantry, that's 10 with the militia, 15... 16, 17, 8. So he's not quite at 20, right? So he's already at a disadvantage, numbers-wise. But then you see, like, this is kind of foreshadowing right here, you know, especially with what I've been said earlier about wasting units. He just sent his chasseurs à cheval way out ahead. And these aren't a super expensive unit, but they're a really good unit. That's why France players like to bring a lot of them. And he sent them way out ahead. And here he is, like, thinking, oh, okay, you know, these guys aren't in position. This is a great time to charge them. And, like, it's true. I wasn't really in position. I was trying to hurry when I saw what he was doing. But I just retreat back my militia. You know, I was like, I guess I don't get the initial volley off like I usually would. But, you know, I still form that square, get behind it. I'll be able to get this guy in position to shoot them. And he does that. He does the, you know, the cav blob thing. And, you know, normally you don't like to countercharge, but here I do go ahead and do it. You know, I rally my troops so that my light foot don't run. And here's the thing, like, normally you don't want to you know, counter their cav with your cav. But one, French cav is, like, a way more important thing than British cav. And two, the big reason you don't want to do that is because that usually means that you're fighting in your line. For example, you can see that here. But fighting in your line is a problem because the opposing line can take advantage of that disruption to, you know, rein in death. And that's not what's happening here. Instead, I'm like, okay, I'm getting my light foot out. I've got 2 of my 4 cav engaged with him, and I have a third just loop around here. One of them is already routing, and I'm just like, okay, I'm just going to seal the deal, you know, on this fight. And just charge in his flank like that. And, you know, his chasseurs rout pretty damn quickly. So, okay. He's just lost 3 units and hasn't killed... He's killed 0 of mine. Okay, so now it's 20 versus, like, what? 16? And big picture, like, the armies are still pretty far apart from each other. You know, he's basically just squandered 3 of his most useful units. 3 of his most cost-effective units, for sure. And now, this creates another problem for him in that he has 0 cav left, you know, except for his general. So if I want to, I don't even need to protect these lights, really. So here, at that point, I'm like, okay. Oh, and here I don't untarget them as soon as I should. So, you know, little mistake you see by me is they're trying to chase those chasseurs à cheval, and I realize it. But the militia does shoot me up a little bit. That's okay. Meanwhile, I'm bringing my lights up here, and he's doing his meat shield a little bit, I think, wrong. How I like to do a meat shield is have them just a little bit in front of my lights so that they can soak up the initial shots, but you don't want to have this thing where they're like their own entire separate line. that, you know, like, it's not like my units are gonna run out of ammo here. Hopefully they should start shooting pretty soon. Yeah, there we go. See, look at that. And now he's gonna just try to charge forward with them, unsupported, for the most part. They're just running in. And look how quickly, that's already at half health. That's not hurt at all, I guess, but you know, they're shooting back. They're trying their best, these militia. You know, you can see here I'm already moving guys up on the flank, getting my cav up. Because if you look at his army, I mean, he's got his 3 old guard over here, right? So what side do I want to attack on? The side without the old guard. So I'm like, okay, I'll just get up on his flank here, or wipe the field with him. It'll be easy peasy. That's my default way to deal with old guard, is attack in the other spot. Okay, but here, you know, you can see I've got some of my foot firing on his lights. Like, this is already a light fight that I'm going to win even without that being the case. And he decides to do a retreat. And at that point, oh, and he retreats, but he doesn't want to retreat his militia. So I just sit there and I think, like, okay, maybe I should have moved up a little bit more, gotten better shots. But I was thinking, like, I can just skirmish him to death for free if that's what you're gonna do. And I was doing that with the assumption that it would rout in, like, 5 seconds. That didn't happen. So I should have honestly just pushed up harder here. Like, just gone bam up here. You know, had my cav charge the militia, whatever. And then that would have made this whole fight a lot cleaner. But you see what he's doing now is he's splitting up his army. Okay. Ooh, what's his strategy there? You know, he's sending his old guard off as their own division, their own little detachment, with a Polish legion supporting them, and that's it. Meanwhile, I'm just shooting down his poor militia until they die. And there they go. So here I think... Oh, and here I had a little problem issuing orders during this battle. Like, a lot of times they would randomly do really weird shit and I had to reorder it. So I'm like, okay. You want to go toe-to-toe? Like, he's doing, in some sense, like, the smart thing where you attack with your stronger part and pull back with your weaker part, but he's not really doing it very well, and he's creating too big a gap between them. So at first I'm like, okay, I'll just move up here with my lights and get on the flank of your army here, and kind of just have some foot ready to protect these lights from you trying to come in with you. Oh, see, there's it happening again. You know, to prevent you having to come in with your old guard. So I get up, and he just runs away. And that's where I'm like, okay, you've really created a gap. So instead, I'm like, I'm going to change gears here. Because instead, so yeah, normally I say my standard way is attack where the old guard isn't, right? But I see he's going to be really timid here. And now he's created a situation where he's got 4 units here. You know, granted, 3 of them are old guard. But I've already got, you know, 4 that are ready to just line up against him. Plus, you know, some more foot units. And these aren't bad. I mean, these are King's German Legion and Highland and some regular foot. And now I'm bringing in my light infantry as well. So that'll be like 5... That'll be like, you know, 9, 10 units plus some cav versus his 4... units unsupported. So here, I think he kind of realizes the problem with that a little bit and wants to re-engage. So I just drop way back here, you know, and I just want to protect this flank, keep an eye on it. If I have to pull these guys back a little bit, I will. And here we fight at this weird angle. These Highland foot, they really do a good job, all things considered. I mean, they're standing up against the guard. You know, that's not an easy thing for a regular foot unit, or even a slightly elite foot unit to do. So good job, Scotsman. So he's kind of put himself, like, at an angle, which creates this pocket that he's in here. I honestly probably should have reformed my line to be more straight against him, because, like, these guys aren't really shooting, they're just chilling. But I've brought my general up here, I've rallied. You know, I just need to keep him in the fight. My goons finally get here. And this is where if I were just lined up like this next engagement would go significantly better, I think. But here I'm like, okay, those Highland Foot also start running it just a little bit too early, unfortunately. But here I'm bringing these Germans up, and I'm charging his old guard with my Dragoons. You know, you see, and he forms square. That's good. He forms square here too. That's good. These guys, he forms square on all of them. So I retreat my Dragoons as best I can. But at this point, I've got a bunch of light foot here that are shooting at his squares. So that's good. And you see here, he's not caught up to where I've kited back. And he's got a problem, right? Like, he's not engaging over here. And he's still these 4 units, but I've got, you know, as far as just shooting units, I've got 1, 2, 3, plus 5 light, so 8. I outnumber him 2 times in terms of shooting units. Plus, I've got some calves still, and my general here. You know, that's not a position you want to be in. And, I think he kind of lost a little bit of micro here, because he was trying to manage this and this. And here I'm like, okay, I'll continue falling back a little bit. I'm just trying to buy enough time for the place where I outnumber you 2-to-1 to work out. And I was going to charge the Polish Legion, but they ran away. And then that caused one of the old guard to run away. And now I'm up on the flank here of his guards. And I'm shooting them with a bunch of units. These King German Legion are taking a pounding. My more elite foot really went through the ringer here. And I'm like, okay, I'll wheel around. I'll charge his old guard from behind, and I think he was commanding his other flank because he missed it. And here I'm like, okay, I'm lined up here. It's fine, ready to do this. Get my old guard, get my guy general out of the way of his old guard. And here I just have my cav kind of running amok in his guards. This unit doesn't have enough fire on them. This one is taking some, but could be taking more for this situation. But you know, that's fine. So that's instance number 2, though, basically, where, you know, he isolated 4 of his good units and just let me kill them at will. And now they're basically a non-threat. But he's not, and I went ahead and like, okay, now that they're not a threat, while I finish them off, I can advance up here. And he's just leaving these chasseurs back here where they can't really contribute to the fight, leaving his Polish Legion to get gunned down. Letting me have a, you know, 2-to-1 virtual advantage against the Polish. You know, virtual advantage, like these 2 versus that 1. No, there the Polish go. Surprise, surprise. Like, 2-to-1 fight. That's not really fair, right? Like, they're gonna lose. And yeah, routed one of the old guard. So now I'm just gonna bring up my skirmishers and finish off the other one. No problem. Here, he's got 2 militia that have come back from routing, but I don't think he's not done anything with it. I don't even know if he's noticed. I'm not sure what he is paying attention to, though. But at this point, I mean, you know, what is there to do? So let's just speed up a little bit. Redeploy here, move up. Again, because of the angle. Now here, his chasseurs actually are involved, but you're shooting his own guys in the back. And they're dying from combination of, and I'm like, okay, just whatever. got that last little cab unit yet, but they also rout before the cab gets to them. It does force them to shatter though. I'm like, okay, I'll just get into the chasseurs then. Like, I'm not taking this match as seriously as I should be at this point. I'm pretty confident in myself now. I don't think there's much I can do to lose. In fact, you'll see something that really drives that point home momentarily. So okay, you know, moving up again. Gotta kill the rest of these poles. And get off a volley there, get off a volley here. That really hurts them. Making these guys rout. You know, really shooting at these guys. And pretty soon, I give the order, yep, to just begin bayonet charges. Because, like, and now you see some of his chasseurs hadn't been shooting, so they had fresh volleys. So not the best charge I've ever done, but it doesn't need to be a great charge, does it? Because even if I just lost all these guys, like, I have enough of an army left over here to beat them all. You know, my lights could probably win the rest of this battle if I really needed them to. So at this point, I think, you know, what's always fun in situations like this is charging their general with your general. So that's what I do. Let's find Mr. General in here, shall we? Which one is he? I actually don't know. That guy in the middle, I guess? So I charge in, and right away he gets murdered. Oh, look at that. He like slowly laid down there. And they go in to avenge him. And you see at that point, like, this causes some pretty serious morale problems for a lot of my bayonet fights. But, I mean, at this point, I think he may have gone AFK when he realized he lost. And I kill his general as well, and, you know, some of my guys are sad because their general's dead, but I can just keep, like, I have such a weight of numbers, it doesn't really matter how many of my units he routs. But anyway, good game to my opponent here. Just make sure that you don't, you know, that you don't ever just waste units like that, and you could have a good chance. Anyway, thank you for watching.